Hi guys, and welcome back to the Females in Motorsport podcast. Today is a very special one for us because this is our very first IRL in-person video podcast, the first one. And today we have with us Rose Jackson, Senior Communications Officer at Jaguar TCS Racing, and we're at the Portland E-Prix. So very much IRL, on point, on brand.
Yeah, in the moment.
Yeah.
It's warm, it's hot.
It is hot, it is toasty, yes. You guys can't see the sweat over here, but we are spelling it out. How are you today?
I'm good, yeah, I'm really, really good. It's really exciting to be another race. So yeah, this is my third race that I've been to with the team. So yeah, it's always good to be back and like finding your feet, working out where everything is around the paddock. But yeah, good to be back.
So how long have you been here, Jaguar TCS?
So I joined the team in September of last year, which is obviously kind of in that gap between the seasons. So I had a few months before season 9 began. And then, kind of started going to the races in January. My first one was Mexico, so the first race of the season. So yeah, actually it's going really quickly and you know, can no longer say I'm a newbie. There's been more new people since. So yes, I started back in September, yeah.
Do you feel like from Mexico to now, you feel like you have more of an idea of what's going on and like being able to get your feet dirty a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in those first few months when you've never been to a race and people are talking about it, it's definitely, you understand it, but it's so hard to visualize it and picture and understand it. So once I went to my first race, it kind of, everything fell into place. I was like, okay, this is what they mean when they talk about this, this and this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely helpful to go to that first race. And then when I went to my next one, which was Sao Paulo, I felt like I kind of knew what I was doing. And then, and now we're here. So yeah, feeling much more confident. Yeah.
So speaking of like generally your job and your role here as a Senior Communications Officer, what is your role at Jaguar TCS Racing?
Yeah, so my role is, as you've said, I work in the communications team. So that kind of spans across PR as well as kind of supporting with the social campaigns that we do. So whether it's kind of working on photo shoots and video shoots, but predominantly, it's working on kind of the reputation of the race team really. So that can be from when we're at a race, it's kind of supporting the drivers with all of the interviews that they do, all of the media opportunities, whether it's for TV, radio, you know, kind of more traditional media, supporting with all of that activity. Whereas when I'm back in the office, it's more supporting the team with promoting all of the work we do from a sustainability perspective or from a technology perspective and kind of doing all of that storytelling and generating those bits of news for the team.
What is your favorite part about your job?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you know what? I don't think there's like a particular task that I would say is my favorite. It's more, it sounds really cheesy, but it's the people. Like I honestly love the people that I work with, and they makes it so much easier to come to work and work hard, because I think when you're working under such pressure and at fast pace, to know that you're just getting on with everybody at the same time, like that genuinely is my favourite part about the job, is just working with such a good bunch.
I 100% agree, because I work in PR full time and having just people you get along with, but also people who are the same wavelength as you.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, like you just get each other.
If you can click with somebody, it makes such a difference when you know you're like, you're the same vibe.
You're not coming to work. It's like you're just coming, you know, to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously you love your work, so that's like an added bonus almost.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can go out with the people you work with for a day after or like whatever, especially when you guys spend so much time together.
Yeah. So at the races, you know, as soon as we wake up, we're having breakfast together until we go to bed when we've had, you know, we have dinner and then we go to bed. So yeah, it really does make a difference that to get on with everybody. And you know, when people ask me about my job, I'm like, it's great, I'm loving it. And it's the people that make that difference.
I love that.
I know, it's good. I'm lucky.
So I know that you were new in motorsport. This is your first
it is. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what you did before and what made you make that change to motorsport?
Yeah, so I guess depending how far you want to go back, but I studied business and PR at university. So I kind of knew I wanted to go into that role where I use communications. Like I always enjoyed writing, I enjoyed copywriting, that kind of thing. So realised that was kind of my skill set. So that's what I studied at university, really enjoyed it. I did a placement year while I was there. So I got to do a year of working, kind of learn more in that year than I did studying at uni. So did that, then graduated and went into a PR agency. So obviously with that, you're juggling different clients, you've got different industries that you're spanning across. Like I worked on PR for concrete suppliers all the way up to wardrobe manufacturers. So a real spectrum of industries that I worked across. So that was really good for kind of building my skills, building my confidence in the areas that I wanted to work in. And then I moved into a role with the Commonwealth Games. So the Commonwealth Games actually came to Birmingham, which is where I'm from, so Birmingham in England, last year. So that was the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. But I started that role kind of 2.5 years prior. So that was my first role in sport. A role that was kind of not directly in the sporting action itself, but more the kind of wider storytelling of why sport is so important for communities and that kind of angle in that kind of area. And that was an incredible job. It was probably the toughest job. The pressure and the intensity and the build up to those games was a lot, but it taught me a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I kind of thrived off the pressure most of the time. Sometimes when a little too far.
I think if you work in PR, you have to thrive off pressure.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, you have to enjoy that kind of fast-paced environment.
Yeah.
But that was my first role in sport, and I really enjoyed it. And then that came to an end in summer of 2022. So obviously I was looking for a new role. And I think what attracted me to this role itself was being back in that sporting space, but my role wasn't all about the sport. It's about the bigger picture. It's about how sport can have a influential role on communities or sustainability or, you know, moving the dial. So that's what kind of drew me to it. And the role description was, you know, to do that storytelling of how, you know, the future of electric mobility, how racing that we're going to be doing on Saturday is driving that forward. So that's what attracted me to it. And I think, you know, Jaguar Land Rover or JLR, they're a really reputable company in the West Midlands where I'm from, and I was really attracted to them. And then knowing that I would have that fun element of the racing, that really attracted me. Yeah.
I think it's so interesting because sport is very, very emotional almost.
Yes.
We're all in it because we love motorsport, we have passion for the sport. And I think it's interesting the way you described your change because it's not like you already had some background in sport, but not specifically motorsport. Motorsport itself is such a diverse world.
Yeah.
There's so many different kinds of motorsport, so many different kinds of races. So I like that you described it like, you know, you already had some experience, but it's more about like the passion for the storytelling and the messaging and the narrative. Because I think with communications, that is like the biggest part of the job. And if you don't like the message you're talking about, it's not gonna work. It's not
gonna resonate either. Yeah. Well, that's it. I think you know, I was no expert in Formula E. Obviously, you know, people have heard of Formula One. It's, you know, you use that as kind of it. People call it the electric version of that. So I had, you know, very basic awareness of it. But I think that was almost one of the reasons why I got the job as such, was because I brought in a fresh, you know, mindset to it. It was, you know, I could think about how we tell a technical story to somebody who wouldn't necessarily understand it to begin with. And it's that kind of using those skills, I think, is what attracted me to the world of motorsport.
I think because Formula E is so new that there is so many new things that people have just not talked about before. Like I think Formula One, even though of course there's new things coming into Formula One every single day, Formula E is still so new and fresh that there's still so much to unearth. And there's also like such a strong sustainability messaging that would be something really fun to talk about. And people are just so hungry for that kind of information and that communication, and just like hearing from you guys, from the teams, and like what the actual efforts are behind the teams and everything. So that's really exciting. Yeah, that's really cool. So how is the comms role in motorsport, let's say in Jaguar TCS Racing, or even at Commonwealth and sport in general, different from working for other industries?
It's a good question. I would say from what I found in sport, it's much more fast-paced and it's much more, you never know what's going to happen. So when I was don't get me wrong, working in a PR agency was fast-paced, but more so because you were juggling clients, like the actual work that you did, whether it was, you know, an announcement about a product that's launching, it wasn't as you would plan towards that. You knew that was coming. You knew it was about to happen. Whereas in sport, anything can change at last minute. You know, with race results, you're going to have to be able to change your direction or change your tone in how you come across with anything that you're writing or briefing somebody to speak about in an interview. So I think, that kind of unpredictable nature is a bit different. And just how fast the seasons go as well. I think that really makes a difference.
Yeah, I can't believe this is like round 9. That's crazy. That's
and the next season with double figures.
That's insane. That's absolutely crazy. So when you guys are prepping for race day, do you guys prepare comms for like all possible
eventualities? In a sense, I mean, I think it's so hard because there are so many eventualities. You know, there's 22 drivers, there's 11 teams. Like things can change in like that with the different sessions and the races. So we don't have things kind of set in stone and planned. But I think, you know, we've got a really great team that can work quickly. You know, we're used to working quickly. We're used to being able to be flexible and change. So it's just more about, I think a lot of the time as well, it's like about reading the room. It's a big room, we're in a paddock, it's a big area, but it's about understanding, you know, being sensitive to certain issues and things like that. So, it's just having that awareness and having that confidence to then be firm in your messaging and your briefing and things like that.
That makes sense. So given that you worked in other, you know, industries and things like that, do you think there's any skills that are very unique to motorsport that, for instance, you know, are not able to transfer from other industries and vice versa? Are there any skills that are able to transfer into motorsport and just universally good for comms?
Yeah, I think skills that are transferable, I mean, in PR and comms, it's, you know, one, being able to be a good copywriter, being able to tell a story, like ultimately whether you're telling a really emotive story or a really technical story, you've still got to be able to get that language across in a way that people understand it in the first few sentences. They've got to know what you're talking about, and they've got to be engaged in what you're talking about. So I think that skill is important, whatever industry that you work in. But yeah, I mean, skills that are really independent to motorsport. I think it's the paddock environment and being able to know your way around and know when you're needed in certain areas for specific things that happen. So for example, you know, there's always at race weekends, there's the media pen that happens and the drivers have to be there to do their interviews. So you need to have that awareness of, you need to get your drivers from A to B, you need to be there with them to support any tricky questions they might get asked. And I think that varies to other industries as well. You know, we have spokespeople for our brand, our race team and our brand that are in front of the media every other week. You know, in a high pressured environment, they're working under pressure, they're racing under pressure. So you've got to be able to kind of handle that heat as well. Whereas in other industries, your spokesperson might speak to the media once every 6 months, depending on how they work. So I think, you've got to be able to keep up.
That makes sense. I do feel like in a race environment, everything, like you were saying, just move so quickly, keeping up with comms and what question you're going to get asked, or like the possible outcome of, like, you know, a race that's tomorrow, maybe a race that's already happened, and you know how you're prepping for the race, like all those things can change pretty quickly. So I find it very fascinating, like how you guys would prepare comms for something like that. I don't know if I could do that. That seems like very, very fast-paced for sure. So this is an interesting one that I always wonder about people who just started working in motorsport, because for me, I'm like kind of into this world of motorsport very fresh. I only started watching motorsport a couple of years ago. So I always like to ask this question, like, so there is, you know, a world out there that divide motorsport fans, specifically Formula One fans, but I think it is spilling into other motorsport series as well, as new fans and old fans. And new fans is always kind of, you know, talking more about younger women and LGBTQ communities and diverse communities. Did you ever feel like, you know, coming as a new professional in the field, did you ever feel like people were not as welcoming, or did they have like a different stigma almost, or label almost around you because you didn't have a background in working in motorsport?
No, No, it's a good question. I don't think I ever felt that, especially not in the environment that I work in at JLR. I think I'm really lucky that I work in a really supportive and, caring environment. Actually, everybody does care about each other. And people are happy to help you and happy to educate you. Like, I never feel, because I work in such a supportive environment, I don't ever feel scared to ask a stupid question. You know, you're like, can I ask a stupid question? I know to everybody else, it makes sense to you, but I think I've never felt too scared to ask those questions, which I think is really important, because that's the only way you're ever going to learn. I guess you shouldn't be shy away from starting in a new industry, especially with motorsport. Like, you can do it and you can learn quickly, and there's still loads that I don't know, and there's still people here that have worked here for years, and there's stuff that they don't know about the cars. And I think, even the paddock setup, that changes often. We come to new races all the time. So, for example, Portland, this is a brand new race for everybody. So everybody's new here, really. So I think that helps. But I think, there was an element of, you can tell when people have worked here a long time, because they know exactly what they're doing. They know who to speak to. Just building your confidence. The more you speak to people, the more you know who to turn to when you need a favour, or you can offer your help, or things like that. So I've definitely found it to be a welcoming environment.
That's nice. That's really good to hear. I love that you said about, can I ask a stupid question, because that is me. I've always guys, I think I have a stupid question.
No, honestly. Or if someone's describing something technical and I'm like, the cogs are going around in my head. I'm trying to get there. Explain it to me one more time. And I work in an environment which I do feel like I'm very supported, and the tagline in our office is, there are no stupid questions. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. I like that, because sometimes you just don't know things. Because you just haven't experienced it before.
Why would you know? So
exactly. And like, vis-a-vis, like, if they were to be in your environment that you were had been working in for a very long time, they might think it's a stupid question. So it's interesting. Like, I love that phrase. Can I ask a stupid question? So for anyone who's new to the world of motorsport, and somebody who wants to, go into the world of motorsport, somebody who's not worked in it before, do you have any words of wisdom? Because I'm sure people will think, you have made it. How did you make it here?
I think confidence plays a lot into it. Like, I think people would see me as I come across confident. I mean, I have my doubts. I have my own days. I think everybody does internally. But I think if you can just have that confidence and not be afraid to, I guess, kind of position your skills in a way that support you, and in a way that can open doors for you. I think when I applied for this role, I was very open about the fact that I didn't have motorsport experience, but I used that to my advantage. As I said before, I can be that person that can tell a story to somebody who doesn't know about Formula E, because I didn't know about Formula E. Like, I was that person. So I think, I guess it would be about thinking about your skills and how you can use that to your advantage, even if you don't have experience in motorsport, but you want to get in there. Just think about the transferable skills and where you can use, you might have worked in, I don't know, just a really busy environment. Well, that's great, because the races are really busy environments. You need to be able to handle pressure or work with a lot of people and things like that. So I think that helps. But I guess as well, wisdom that I could give would be, like, don't think that it's as glamorous as it looks. Like, it's brilliant, don't get me wrong. And when people say to me, are you enjoying your new role? I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm getting to travel the world. It's brilliant. But we work hard, we work long hours, we get our hands dirty. So I think, just don't be afraid of the graft either. And then, if you've got your confidence, you're willing to work hard and willing to enjoy it, then I think that's a really good myth to break down, because people do always assume that motorsport is very glamorous, and there is a glamorous side to it. But like, working, in the paddock, like on the ground, in the heat. It's not for everyone, and that's fine. But that is something you have to come with prepared to work in if you want to work in motorsport, because it can be like that. It's also like very busy all the time. You're expected to, know your way around, at least to a certain extent. Because it is busy. So So this is now, we have come to my favorite part of the podcast,
which is our rapid fire round.
Okay.
Where we're gonna ask 3 questions.
Okay.
You gotta be rapid, you gotta make it fun. I mean, you'll be fine. But I'm just gonna ask you 3 questions.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So, like you said, this is your 3rd race.
Yeah.
What has been the most surprising part about working in a paddock?
Do you know what it is? When I worked at my first race in Mexico, everybody knew each other. I couldn't believe walking around, everyone was like, oh my God, hi. And I think because it had been so long since the prior season, everyone was like catching up again. So that really surprised me how much, I guess between all the different teams, everyone gets on, knows each other, wanted to catch up. There's like that real like community feel. I guess I thought it would be a bit more like, oh, there's rivalries everywhere.
And
but no, it's not like that at all. So that was really a lovely surprise, kind of.
I love that actually. Because you would think that like it's so competitive, and obviously there is a layer of competition.
Yeah, of course.
But it's also like healthy competition.
Yeah, and you know, there's so many people that work here and here to work. So obviously they get on as well. So yeah. That was quite surprising actually. I was like, oh my God, everyone knows each other. Like I need to know everyone's name. Yeah.
And it's also like because you're all like I don't think anybody else can understand your day as somebody else is working in the paddock.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Or like waking up.
So people have
going to bed late,
sympathy for others. They understand it. They get it. Yeah.
All right. Second question, and this is a bit of a show and tell.
Okay.
What are the 3 things that are always in your handbag?
Oh. Okay. Do you want me to?
Yes. You have your handbag?
I have my handbag.
Yes, let's do it.
Ooh, got it.
Ooh.
Right, okay. Handbag that's nice and neat and
I'm very excited.
doesn't get in the way.
I'm going to come out of this. I'm very excited.
Right, what have I got? Always carry sunglasses because it's a hot race.
Mm-hmm.
They usually, actually, while they're in my handbag now, they usually sit on the top of my head and then fall off when I need them, or they'll get bashed, or I'll always be like, where are my sunglasses?
Yeah. I have glasses and sunglasses, and my sunglasses don't have the lens, so it's always like my sunglasses are here on my...
And your glasses are on, yeah. So sunnies. What else do I always have? Bit of perfume. Never goes amiss. Again, we're working in a hot place. If you want a little freshen up, just dab it on the wrists. And what I always try and carry with me is hair bubbles. So I've probably got a good combination in here. A little skinny one, a bit of a chunky one. There's sometimes a scrunchie around because again, you just never know when you just tie your hair up.
Very practical.
My hair's getting in my face. Get it up. Those are 3. I mean, and then the usual phone. 2 phones, work phone, personal phone.
Yeah.
Purse, hand sanitizer.
Yeah. That is so practical. I love the hair ties because I always have them, but you never really like think about it until it's missing.
Oh my God! And when it's gone, you just like, all I want is a hair bubble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I supposed to do? Because if it's hard and it's just like, what are you gonna do now? Yeah. It's a really good one. It's a good reminder for everyone. All right. Last question.
Okay.
If you weren't in comms or motorsport, what alternate career would you pursue?
You're gonna laugh, but I have this weird obsession with airports.
Okay.
Well, it's not a weird obsession, but I just love airports.
Okay.
And when I was younger, I actually wanted to be an air hostess.
Okay.
And I just love airports. I just find every role there fascinating.
That's
interesting. There's just so many people working there at all hours.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You just and if anyone stops, it knocks the whole thing off. So I just find airports fascinating.
I do.
Quite a random one.
I do find airports fascinating to the way because they're always kind of outside the city.
Yeah.
And people who work in the shops and the restaurants.
Like, how do they get there?
How do they get there? How do they commute? Like every single day, going to the airport. I live in New York, and I go into any airport. New York is like I want to pull my hair out. That's like my least favorite part about going anywhere.
You hate airports, and I love that.
And I think airports are divisive like that.
Yes.
You love them because you're kind of like people like traveling.
Yeah.
Even like arrivals lounge, you're kind of like seeing people come together and food.
Yeah.
Or you actually hate it.
You hate airports. Get me in, get me out.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
You can people watch a lot in airports. I think that's why I like them as well.
Yeah.
I'd have been an air hostess. Yeah.
I love that. I feel like you would be good at that because I feel like you have like a very nice, like friendly temperament, and you got me a bottle of water and
I don't know what's your thing. Making sure you're cool and calm.
Yeah. You're like I'm dying.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love that. All right, well, thank you so much, Rose.
Thank you for having me.
With you.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah,
Are you here to see the race the rest of the weekend?
Yes, I'm very excited to see the race. My first ever Formula E race.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to just get in the thick of the paddock.
Yeah, love it.
I'm coming as media this weekend. My first ever.
Nice. Oh yeah, love that.
Excited.
Supporting Jaguar, or do you have to be on the fence if you media? You can support.
Yeah,
Jaguar.
you know, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Love it.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I love learning what it's real, and
Okay.
I'm so excited for this to be like our first ever video opener.
Amazing. Yay. Love it.